Hey everyone, welcome back. What do we got going on today? Bitcoin was up today, miners were up today as well. BitDigital provided their financial results, but I did not see the SEC filings for it as far as all their tables for current assets, revenue, things like that. So we'll kind of go over it just a little bit today, and then we'll get into it more probably tomorrow when I do actually have the results for all the figures I can put into my spreadsheets, and we'll review it tomorrow as well in much more detail. But today we're just going to take a look at Bitcoin network hash rate versus the miners for July. We'll take a look at how did the miners do against the overall network. Did they improve more than the network hash rate or less? Right. We'll take a look at that, and we'll get into your guys' Q&A. So it should be a pretty easy day today. Not much going on with the miners other than that. Okay. So as always, not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research, and my full disclosure down below. If you enjoy this type of content, you guys and gals, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin here really quick. And I don't know if you guys ever got into down the rabbit hole on YouTube shorts or any shorts in that matter, but I was just, before I came on live here, I was watching YouTube shorts, and they had all these stories of people just being great human beings, right? Helping people that are homeless, giving them money and things like that. It was a tearjerker, so luckily I didn't tear up too much before going live here. But man, that's definitely pulls on my heartstrings when you see that kind of good stuff happening here. So, but nonetheless, I'm off the topic here. Let's get back on topic here with Bitcoin miners and Bitcoin here. What's going on with them? Bitcoin was actually pretty good today. It was up 1.75% on the day today. In the new day, it was up another 1.73. Got a little higher than that. But we had a pretty good swing here on Bitcoin in the last 24 hours. I mean, we went down as low as 57,820, and we went up as high as 60,941. So pretty wild swing day today on it, surprisingly enough. So Bitcoin was up, which is good to see. Miners, for the most part, were up today as well. Nothing really that was major as far as performance-wise. Wolf was up quite nicely again today, about 8%. Stronghold was up 7.28. Who else was up nicely? Hive was up 5.9 roughly. And then we had, who else was up kind of nicely here? Bitgear was up 6.6% as well. And that's basically it on the miners here. So it's definitely kind of a wild day. I wouldn't say a wild day, but it was definitely a good day for the miners and Bitcoin in general. It did come down here in the morning hours and then came back up here in the afternoon hours as well, which is kind of good to see here. And yeah, let's get into just really quick the story that we do have here on BitDigital. They did report their second quarter fiscal year end 2024, not fiscal year end, but fiscal year second quarter 2024 financial results. We'll just take a look at the financial highlights for the second quarter really quick. Like I said, I don't have the numbers for all the information as far as what was the total assets and how it's all split up in the tables. That has not been published yet. I'm guessing it's going to be published sometime either later on tonight. Last time I checked was around 8:30 or so. So I haven't checked that yet. So it may be out already, but I haven't seen it since then. But here's what we do have here. So total revenue was $29 million for the second quarter of 2024, a 220% increase compared to the second quarter of 2023. So that's good. The increase was primarily driven by the commencement of our high-performance computing services (HPC) business and by a higher realized Bitcoin price. And then revenue from Bitcoin mining was just $16.1 million. Let's take a look at what did I have them at here. Let's see here, BitDigital. They said 16.1. I had them at 16.05, so pretty close to that over here. We're off by approximately, 49,000 or so, roughly. So that's pretty good. I like that. For the second quarter, and an 80% increase compared to prior year's quarter. The company's HPC recognized $12.5 million of revenue during the quarter compared to basically nil for the prior year, which is true. So that's definitely helping them out there. The company had cash and cash equivalents or restricted cash of $61.4 million, and total liquidity defined as cash, cash equivalents, and restricted cash, USDC, and the fair market value of digital assets of approximately $191.9 million. As of June 30th. Total assets was $315 million, and shareholders' equity amounted to $295 million as of June 30th. And then adjusted EBITDA was negative $3.8 million for the second quarter of 2024 compared to $1.9 million for the second quarter of 2023. Adjusted EBITDA includes an $11.5 million unrealized loss on digital assets. So that's mainly, they have a little bit of a hodl on Bitcoin and a large hodl on Ethereum. So that's based on that. If you take that out, that would be positive. GAAP loss per share was $0.09 on a fully diluted basis for the second quarter, compared to a loss per share of 3 cents for the second quarter. Okay, so it's mainly attributable to the revaluation of Ethereum and Bitcoin as well on it. Okay, so it's not looking too bad. We'll take a look at the actual numbers tomorrow when they do get those out, released basically. And I believe Digital has a earnings call tomorrow morning as well. I'll see if I can get a hold of that. If I'm not able to listen to it live, I will listen to it possibly on my lunch break or something like that, just to get a feeling for what's going on there. Okay, but that's it on Digital. And let's get into just really quick to take a look at how the miners performed here as far as hash rate growth compared to the Bitcoin network hash rate growth. And where's it at? I got too many spreadsheets here. Enterprise value match. Okay, there it is. Okay, so we're looking back roughly like 24 months on this in general. I mean, you can see how much the network hash rate has increased just in, well, in 2 years. It's a huge increase on it, and that's mainly driven by the efficiencies in the ASICs being produced. They're more efficient, they're higher hash rate, and you're seeing kind of a, well, we had a doubling basically in hash rate just last year in 2023. We're not probably going to see that here this year, and I think that's mainly because of the halving event, but I think we're still going to do go pretty high on it here right now. As you guys know, I'm still thinking that we might be at like 800 exahash to 900 exahash with the network hash rate by the end of the year. We started out the year at 505, so that was at the end of December here, 505 exahash. So that would still be like a 300 to a 400 exahash increase in general. We have about 4.5 months left to go roughly on that. Not even less than that probably. What do we have here? We had September, October, yeah, 4.5 months left to do that. So we'll see how close I am to that. But you can see here that July, the network hash rate on the 30-day average was at 614 exahash, and the miners actually went up to 154 exahash. And so these are the publicly traded miners that I cover here. That includes all of these guys over here. So that's BitDeer, BitDigital, Bitfarms, Cypher, Cleanspark, CORZ Scientific, Hive, Hut 8, IREN, Marathon, and Riot, TerraWolf as well. So that's like the 12 of the top miners here that are in this space right now. And there we go. We're back to here. So they increased less so than the network hash rate. And we can see that down here. Network hash rate for Bitcoin increased by 34 exahash. Bitcoin miners contributed an additional 13.75 of that. So you got basically, what is that, roughly 21 exahash that was not publicly traded, roughly. And that's, so that's either public, or not public, but private miners. And maybe there's some public miners in there as well, but the majority of it would be private miners. So that is a difference that we saw in the past year, where we saw the public miners increase 6.5 exahash, while the overall network hash rate went down 23 exahash in May and went down 20 exahash in June as well, while the miners increased by 8.6 exahash at that point. So we did have a little bit more of an increase here in July, but the overall network increased more than the miners did. Okay. Bitcoin public Bitcoin miners percentage of Bitcoin network hash rate, that did drop down here a little bit here to 25.1% in July. June was our best month here in the last 24 months. We were at 25.9% overall. I guess you could say, was not sure. Gosh, what's the word for that? Percentage, basically the percentage of the network hash rate was how much the miners commanded at in June. So it's down a little bit here, down about 0.8, not too bad. We'll see how this continues going forward, but it is continuing to increase here. So that's a good sign here. We're kind of in a low here in March and April, especially with the miners, especially after the halving event here. That kind of went down, and while the hash rate went down on the network hash rate, the Bitcoin miners actually gained hash rate, or gained, gosh, again, I'm drawing a blank. It's like not shareholder value. What am I talking about? Shareholder value. It's you guys know what I mean. But I'm drawing a blank on that word right now. And then here you can see the miners increased by 2.5% added to the network hash rate. And in June, they added about 10% on it. Okay. You can see that we had some really good months here in the past. This was going back to 2022. The miners increased 21% in August, 21% in October. Really good increases there for them. And then down here, when we look at the Bitcoin miners percentage of Bitcoin network hash rate compared to June numbers to July numbers, so we're looking to see if they improved their market share. That's what I'm looking for, market share. Market share of the network hash rate from one month to the other. Yellow equals current month, teal equals the previous month. So if you have the yellow above the teal, that means they increased. If that's below or in front of the teal, that means that they basically lost market cap at that point, or market share. Okay, so BitDigital lost a little bit here. You can see that they were at 0.4493 now, where they are now at gosh, can't talk. They are now at 0.4493. Prior month, they were at 0.476, so they lost a little bit there. BitDeer, same thing. You can see that they lost a little bit. Bitfarms actually improved their market share of the network hash rate, which is good to see here. Cypher is down. Cleanspark is also down a little bit as well. Core actually improved their market share. Hive is down. Hut 8 is down. Iris is down a little bit. Marathon is down quite a bit here. They were at 5.4, and July numbers, based on the numbers that we do have here, they're at 4.69. So that is quite a substantial decrease there for them. Riot is now at 3.8 roughly. So they're pretty close to where they were. And then TeraWolf increased their market share as well to 1.6 compared to the 1.5 that they were at before. So this is always interesting to take a look at, see how the miners are comparing to the Bitcoin network or in general. Are they improving their market share or decreasing on it? And I should track this month over month just to see which miners are actually improving more so than others and growing their hash rate that way. That's something I'll have to look into, see if I can do that going forward, because it might be interesting to see how that progresses as time goes on. Okay, but overall, pretty interesting to see that network hash rate is continuing to increase here. We have in June, and actually in August right now, we actually are higher than the 614. I think we're at 620 something on it. Let's take a look at where we are right now. Let me refresh it really quick here. This is 7-day average, 30-day average. I mean, yeah, it continues to increase here. We're at 638 exahash already. So the August numbers are going to be definitely interesting to see how much the miners increase their hash rate. We do have a lot of miners that are supposed to be growing. We got Marathon growing to 50 exahash by the end of the year. You got IREN growing to 30 exahash. Cleanspark going to 32 exahash. Bitfarms to 21 exahash. Riot going to 51 exahash. 31 exahash on it. So there's still a lot of growth here that's going to be happening with the miners. And we only have like 4.5 months left to go. So it'll be interesting how much we get installed here in August and the rest of the other 4 months as well going forward. Okay, but that is it. Let's get into your guys' Q&A side of things here. See what you guys have any questions on. We'll call it a pretty easy day here. So let's get into Q&A. While that pops up, let me scroll back over. Okay, what do we got here? Okay. Ryan says, hey guys. Hey Ryan, good to see you, buddy. Bevneed, hey Ryan. And then Ryan asks, hey Bevneed, are you in Discord? So yeah, if you guys are in Discord, or if you guys are members of the Patreon members, link is down in the description for that. It's $8 a month, and you guys know the drill here. I'm going to sell you guys on it. But yeah, we have a lot of great conversation there. Let's see what else do we have here. Hi Seb, Ben, by when do you think CORZ will be able to pay back its debt by? Well, they did what is it called? Convertible notes. They paid off a lot of their debt, which now gives them opportunity to possibly hodl Bitcoin and also maybe do some leverage plays on Bitcoin, or what is it called? But basically, they have more optionality right now. It's definitely paid off the debt that they did have, which is good. I think that's happening either today or tomorrow. That's going to be finalized. So that'll be good there. It does mean that we might either get diluted because of the debt, or if they can pay it off in cash, I think that'd be ideal situation there. If you guys are following Penny Ether on X, he had a great post on that and raised pretty good questions on it as well. But he thinks that if they can pay it off with cash, that would be great for the investor. But if they attribute shares to it, then that might not be, you're going to see dilution for it. But I would agree with him. I think if they can pay it off in cash, that would be great. Let's see. What do you think about Riot and Wolf and dilution? Well, let's take a look at both here. So let me go back to my spreadsheet here really quick. Let me pull up. We'll go Riot first, then we'll get into TeraWolf as well here. Okay. So here's Riot. As far as the numbers that we do have here for them at the end of Q2, they diluted by about 11% here from Q1, right? So they're at 303 million here. Going back basically a year, they were at 185 million. So I mean, they added about 15 million shares roughly. That's a lot. but they have been growing. They've been building out Corsicana facility as well, and they've been purchasing Bitfarms shares as well with it, possibly. So that's quite a bit of dilution here. 115 million shares. Let's take a look at TeraWolf here really quick. Going down here. Where's that? So Q2 here. Okay. Well, I don't have Q2 here. Let me see if I can pull that up maybe. Let's unhide some rows here. Unhide all columns. We got a lot of data going back here, back to Q1 of 2022. So Q2 of 2023, they had 221 million shares. Yeah, I mean, they added approximately, 160 million shares. So they have definitely diluted more so. And I think it was just mainly to pay off the debt here recently. And the interesting take on this is if you listen to previous Paul Prager interviews with like Bryce McNally and Anthony Power, he was so adamant about not diluting shareholders because they're one of the major shareholders there and they don't want to dilute, but they still diluted. I was calling for them to dilute a long time ago to pay off the debt. The debt was a big thing that was holding him back, I think. So I'm happy that they paid off the debt. Yes, they diluted a bunch because of it. But you're seeing possibly more hash rate growth here. So if we look at the hash rate growth here really quick, where is it at? Self-mined, where's hash rate? Oh, hash rate growth, okay. So from July of last year, if we go back, they were at 4.9. They basically doubled their hash rate here, roughly, right? At the same time for about 100 some odd million shares. If we look at Riot as well, where was Riot back then? Riot doubled a little bit more than doubled here from July of last year. There were 23 exahash installed. They were at 10.7 exahash at that point. So similar results as far as hash rate doubling, but they doubled by 10 exahash or actually 13 exahash, whereas TeraWolf just doubled by about 5 exahash, right? So you're getting, I think, more bang for the buck here with Riot than you are with TeraWolf right now, just on that alone. And my thoughts on Riot in general, I think maybe most of you guys know that I think Riot has great potential going forward if they can improve their uptime at Corsicana and at Rockdale. I think that would be a good thing there for at least Riot. TeraWolf for them, I think the big thing was paying off the debt, which they were able to do that. That's fantastic. For them is just basically continuing to grow as best as they can, and we'll see what kind of possibly HPC AI play that they get with their facility as well, that they're doing a pilot program right now. Riot does not have a HPC play at all. They are going to be pure Bitcoin mining, kind of like Marathon and Cleanspark is. And then we have some of these other guys like TeraWolf, Cypher, IREN are dabbling with HPC AI as well. So that's kind of where I see things currently with those guys. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the Q&A. Let's see. Ryan asks, I guess he's asking, Cleanspark to 100. I'd say we aren't safe until after 74,000. So Bitcoin 74,000. You guys must have had a conversation up top where I missed it. Let's see here. Oh, already covered that one. Let's see here. Hey, Seb, Bitfarms was at 412 million shares last month when they announced fully funded to 21 exahash. Why do you think they are still diluting 452 million shares now per their website? Per their website? Really? 452 million shares? Is that all of them or just the ones that are tradable? Let me take a look at it here. Let's pull that up here. Where are you seeing that? Bitfarms.com. Oh, why isn't that popping up? Oh, bitfarms.com. Okay, so let's take a look at it here. Screenshot. Okay, don't care about that. Where, if I may ask, where are you seeing the 452 million shares? Let's go into market cap of 1.09. I'm just not seeing, unless I'm missing something here. It might be in a, oh gosh, they always have this. Let's see. Yeah, let me know where you're seeing that. It'd be interesting to know. I know that they still have some ATM that they can pull on, and it might be to get the additional 35, get to the additional 35 exahash that they want to get to next year sometime. So maybe they're still diluting to do that, possibly. Not 100% certain on it though. Okay. McNally, hey, Bryce, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming in here. So rate cuts are coming soon. Well, September, right? Did I hear today correctly that the Fed is looking to maybe do 50 basis points, which I think would be great, but we'll see. Let's see. Hey, Seb, did Digital get a new contract? It's almost up 12% after hours. I did not see anything. I checked their press releases just half an hour before going live here, roughly. I didn't see anything on that one, so I'm not sure. I think maybe just the revenue being shown on there that they have for the HPC AI being 12 million something additional per quarter. I think that's helping maybe that. Not sure. Let's see here. Hello, thank you for your analysis. Much appreciated. You're very welcome. Thank you for coming in. Curious to know which month next year is the last time to sell for. Oh gosh, if anybody knew that, that would be fantastic. Nobody really knows what's the last month to sell in a profit. No, excuse me, I had to burp. I would say, I mean, we'll have to keep an eye on it, keep track of it. Typically, Bitcoin reaches a new all-time high 12 to 18 months, somewhere in between there, after the halving event, which was in April. So 12 months after that would be April. 6 months after that, you're looking at May, June, July, August, September, October timeframe. So we might be right around like the October timeframe to April timeframe, around there somewhere. And that's kind of where I would start looking to possibly sell out. Taj says another 8% run on Wolf today. Yeah, it was a good day, right? So the short report that came out on him, it's not having any sort of an impact on that one. Seems miner share price increases are better if slow increases versus big jumps. You might be right on that. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I don't really care about the daily. I care more about the longer time frame, months, years on these guys. Let's see here. Starmelon says Bitcoin's about to rocket by the end of September. I tend to agree with that. I think somewhere around September, October, November timeframe, we're going to see a much better price on Bitcoin. Let's see. Bitcoin's back at 60,000. Yes, it is. Hank the Tank. Hi, buddy. Hi, Seb. Any concerns with miners getting more powerful, more efficient so quickly? I worry about rapid miner changeover just to keep up, leading to high dilution and continual depreciation. Yes, that is a little bit worrisome. We saw basically within a year and a half, the S19s get replaced by the S21s, which are basically double from where they were. So that is a little concerning here. The efficiencies that are happening there, because we are going from a different nanometer size, from I believe 4 nanometer down to a 3 nanometer. That's going to drive big improvements here. But I mean, they're talking about also going even more efficient just in the next year and a half, down to like 5 joules per terahash, which I think the best ones that we have now are like 13 joules per terahash, something like that. So that's going to be a huge improvement just in efficiencies alone, and that's going to result in higher hash rate as well. So we could see a situation where we're at like 200 terahash per miner right now for air-cooled, and we could be at like 400 in the next year a little bit. So yes, that is a little bit concerning there. We saw Cleanspark already announced that they are getting the S21 immersion machines to change out some of their older S19s. A large portion of those as well, just to kind of stay, just to get as efficient as possible, I guess. So that is a little concerning there. That it is happening so fast, and we do have more players in this field now. We got BitDeer going in with their A6, Antminer, MicroBT. Who else is in there? Block as well, right? They're developing A6 mining machines as well, 3 nanometer. So it is definitely getting pretty interesting in the space here. But the good thing is, looking back, the pricing of the miners are really, really low here compared to where they were back in the last cycle, where we saw price per terahash of like $80, $90, $100 per terahash. Right now, I mean, we're getting to like $16, $18, $20 per terahash right now, even with these so efficient machines. So the good thing is you dilute less to get more, basically. Okay, have a look at CORZ. My 62,601 shares are up 203% year to date. I'm in at 45 cents, 6x so far, and we're just getting started. Hey, congratulations to you. Yeah, anybody that bought Core when it was in bankruptcy and you got really, really cheap shares at that point, you're doing really good here. My dad's one of those guys. He bought before the bankruptcy. He bought after the bankruptcy. He bought in the bankruptcy. So if we get to where we think we might get to with CORZ, around a 10 billion plus valuation possibly, he's going to do really well. Let's see here. Any legal exposures with taking on HPC as major component of overall business model? I could see deep fakes being a big issue moving forward. Government will need someone to point their finger at. So a lot of these, CORZ business, the way they have it set up with CoreWeave is they're providing the infrastructure. They're not developing the software. They're not developing the hardware, I guess you could say as well, because CoreWeave is going to be putting that all in. And it seems like that's the case for most of these guys here. So I think the liability there is limited onto the miners, except for the miners that might actually buy HPCs and give access to, but then you're still, it's still based on the customer there that's running the inferences or the language models, or whatever it might be, whatever they're doing, it would still be on those guys, I would think. I don't think it would be on the miners, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not a lawyer. Let's see. Jenna says in the investor section of their website, stock data. Okay. Let's see here, stock data. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Where we're at investor section. Where is it at? Stock data. Bitfarms at a glance. Trying to find it. So we're looking at Bitfarms here. Stock data. Where am I missing here? Company info, financial results. Oh, stock data. Okay, let's see here. So stock data. Where is it? Bid size, high volume, open LOS, change, shares out. Okay, 451.29 million. Yeah. Okay, that is interesting. And I have them at, what do I have them at? Bitfarms, I have them at, let's see. Bitfarms, I'm at 425 million, and they're saying that they have, so another 25 million roughly shares are being added to it. Okay. Don't know if those are actual shares are outstanding, or sometimes you have these Class C shares or Class B, Class A. I don't know if that's counting all the shares, but based on that, what does it give a market cap of 1.8 billion? And I didn't include the numbers here for today for them. Where's Bitfarms today? Bitfarms is at they're flat from where they were basically on Friday, so that didn't really change anything. So based on that alone, if we look at the market cap on the miners, Bitfarms are at 1.18, and they're saying they are at 1.8. So maybe they did add more shares here, another 25 million shares. Interesting. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. We'll have to see what's going on there. Okay, let's see. Darcy from Hive talked about their financials may be underestimated by retail because they do not use GAAP but IFRS, which limits some of their on-paper revenue, unlike GAAP miners. Thoughts? It could be a possibility. I'm not an accountant, so I wouldn't know the difference between the two. I know GAAP is United States, and IFRS is International Financial Reporting something system or something like that. So yeah, I'm not sure how much of a difference there would be in it. But the other thing is, I think for Hive, and I could be wrong on this, but I've been saying this, I think it's just based on their growth, their ambitions going forward. They've stated that they want to be at 1% of the network hash rate going forward. So that to me is, it's great because they have great operations and everything else, but the stock's not going to do that well, I think, compared to some of the other miners that are trying to be like the top miners here. But we'll see. They could get a nice HPC customer or something like that. That could help them out as well. If they grow more, I think that would help them out as well. Let's see. When BTC breaks out, do you think HPCI takes a backseat to who can mine the most Bitcoin at the best price again? Bitfarms bounced 22% after earnings. BitDigital only got half that in the after hours today. So it also depends on infrastructure, if you own it or not. BitDigital does not own infrastructure. I think that's something that's keeping the stock down for it. Whereas everybody else that we talk about here pretty much has their own infrastructure. And BitDigital doesn't. And I've said this before, I think that's the only thing that's keeping the stock down. They should be much higher valued, but they're asset light, and that could be the result of it. Let's see. Bevneed says Bitcoin might hit 62,000 tonight. Where is it at right now? Let's see. It is at, let's see here. 60,500. Yeah, looking pretty good. 62,000 would get us, let's see, 61,000 is resistance right now. 62,000 would get us to about here. So we would be above the, what line is that? The 50-day simple moving average. We'd get above that. That might be a good sign. We'll see. Short term, I don't really care. I don't want it to drop too much, but I also don't really care in the short term. I'm looking forward to the long term, next 6 to 12 to 15 months. That's where I really care. Let's see, Reynolds says, I have a feeling my 40,700 shares of Bit Digital is going to have a huge day tomorrow. I simply love their AI HPC side with the Bitcoin mining and Ethereum staking Bit Digital has going on. Yeah, they have a lot of going on. I agree with you there. I think they should be valued higher. But that's why I keep saying I think the only reason I think they're not being valued for it might be because they don't have infrastructure. That's the only thing I can think of right now, because there's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't be valued higher. Let's see. Bit Digital new deal with gaming company. I have not heard anything about that. I don't know if you can provide links in here. If you could, that'd be great. Let's see. So what do you think of Harris considering Gary Gensler for the new treasury? Is that factual, or is that just something that's out there in the wind right now? Because, you know, Trump is going to fire Gensler, and somebody might be posting on there that Harris might promote him even. I don't know why you would promote him. I don't know if he has the experience, but Papa Powell, I think, has done a pretty good job. I don't know why you would get rid of him. Let's see. Yeah, we talked about that. Thank you. Let's see here. Watched an interview with McNally Money and BitDeer. I didn't know they had so many megawatts at their disposal. Are they being priced for their AI PG? No, they're not being priced for that or their current megawatts and pipeline that they have of megawatts right now. A lot of their growth is going to be in 2025 and into 2026. So I think that's why they're not being priced appropriately right now. But if we have a longer extended cycle, they should do really, really well because of it. They got a site in Ohio. They got a site, I can't pronounce the name. I can never remember the name. It's starts with a B, I believe. But they have a lot of megawatts coming online in 2025 and 2026, which should help them out that way. Let's see. Bit Digital has signed a binding term sheet with Boosteroid Inc. for its high-performance computing HPC business. Where are you guys seeing that? Did I miss that? Hold on. Let's see. Let's get into Bit Digital. Let's see. News. Okay. So here's the news. I mean, this is all that I have for the news here right now. Oh, there it is. Okay. That's bad on me. I did not see that. I saw the August 19th here. Bit Digital Inc. announced a binding term sheet. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Thank you for letting me know. I would have missed that. So Bit Digital Inc. announces binding term sheet with new HPC customer representing a more than 700 million revenue opportunity over 5 years. Wow. Okay. So that's why the stock's pumping in the after hours. Okay. That's huge. Let's see. Key highlights here. Initial agreement upon signing master service agreement. Boosteroid will place an initial purchase for a starting quantity of GPU servers with a 5-year service duration. Bit Digital's entry into a master service agreement is conditional upon further diligence of Boosteroid, customer, legal, and business reviews, internal approvals, and execution of acceptable MSA. Revenue impact. This initial order is expected to generate approximately $13 million in revenue to Bit Digital over the 5-year term, or approximately 2.6 million. That's it? Anyway, that seems kind of low. This initial order is expected to generate approximately $13 million in revenue to Bit Digital over the 5 years. Okay. So it's definitely much smaller than what we thought it was. Okay. With a new HPC customer representing a more than 700 million revenue opportunity over the 5-year term. But then they go about it here saying it's 13 million and 2.6 million per year. How does that turn into 700 million? Okay, let's go down here. Scalability. Bit Digital will provide Boosteroid with options to draw down additional servers in multiples of 100 up to a total of 50,000 GPU servers within 5 years after signing the MSA. Depending on their deployment plans, their entire 50,000 GPU deployment represents an aggregate revenue opportunity to Bit Digital in excess of 700 million over the 5-year terms, depending on the deployment plan and subject to market conditions. Okay, so that's where they're getting 700 million. Okay, so First step is pretty good here. If they get to 700 million, that's going to be fantastic for them. Let's see what else we got here. Technology deployment. The initial purchase includes GPU servers based on AMD. Okay, wow. So they go with AMD here instead of NVIDIA. EPYC, 4th gen CPUs, and RX 7900 XT GPUs customized by Azutec Computer Inc. and AMD for Boosteroid. Deployment is planned across a network of more than 10 data centers in the United States and Europe. The initial deployment is scheduled to begin over the next 2 to 3 months. Okay. Well, congrats to the Bit Digital team here. Congrats to Sam as well. Surprised that they're going with AMD and not NVIDIA, but well, I mean, if that's what they need and that works for them. So we'll have to see on that one. So this is really good news. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so I missed that. There were 2 reports here today for the news instead of just 1 here on them. So thank you for pointing that out again. Let's see. Very true, prices for miners are coming down. Yeah, the ASICs, yes. If you had some cash, which miners are you buying? So I've been still trying to buy. I haven't bought in the last probably week to 2 weeks now. But I've been buying Bitfarms and IREN. I thought those guys were the most undervalued here. I still own Cleanspark, a large number. That's still my biggest position right now. And then I bought some CORZ as well. On that one, I'm just going to hold on to that one. But yeah, those are the ones. But I mean, risk now seeing Bit Digital getting another customer, because that's one thing that they stated Sam has, is they don't want to be a one-trick pony. And if they can grow that to 700 million, that's going to be huge for them. Right now, it's relatively small. It's not a lot, but 2.5 million compared to 700 million is definitely a much, much bigger change there. So we'll see if they can get that increase as well. Casey says October. Yep. Bitfarms has. Yep. We talked about that. Let's see what else we have here. Venex Matthew Siegel tells CNBC that all the big Bitcoin mining selling is behind us. Bitcoin really hits its stride. Sorry, at that point. So we're buyers here. We think it recovers. Well, we're getting we're more than halfway past August already. So then we have September, which I think might be still kind of down month here, or at least a flat month for Bitcoin. And then finally, once we get past September, October, November is when I think we might actually start doing really well. Hey, so why is Wolf pumping and why is Riot still in trash? Riot, I think, is just their uptime. They need to improve that. Wolf is pumping because we had another report that somebody else was buying several million shares of Wolf here today. Druckenheimer also bought shares last week. So there's just a lot of positive news from large institutional or large investors buying into the shares of Wolf there. Let's see. Hi, Sebastian. Hope all is well. Why we stopped altogether discussing about Cleanspark? I believe it's one of the best miners out there. It is. But if they're not providing any news out here and people are not questioning it or asking questions about it, I'm not going to talk about it, but you guys know my stance on it. Cleanspark is still my largest position here. Going forward, they still have, I think, really good growth going forward. So, yeah. Let's see. Are you voting for Trump? I'm still on the fence for Trump. I'll be honest with you guys. I've been a Republican all my life. I voted Republican forever. Trump last election irked me in the wrong way. So I don't know. I really have to do some thinking about which way I'm going to vote. I know I'm not going to vote for Harris, so it's going to be basically between Trump or RFJ. I think that's his initials, RFJ. But we'll see. Do you think BTC pumps from here or chance for a lower low, and what happens to the miner price? We still are going to be probably trading sideways, maybe down a little bit, up a little bit. It's going to be a bumpy ride here through the remainder of August, I would think, and then into September as well. Historically, September has not been a great month for us as far as percentage gains here. Let me see if I can pull up that chart here really quick. Let's see, where's it at? Bitcoin returns historically. There it is. It's loading. If we look at the monthly returns here in September, you can see that majority of the time, September is a red month for us. We've only had 1, 2, 3. October, on the hand, and November are much better months for us with Bitcoin here. So that's kind of where I'm expecting things to happen at that point. Okay. Can we see Riot cross $40 if Bitcoin crosses 100,000? Riot's at what, like $10 right now, roughly? Where's it at? $8. Okay, so it's at $8. Bitcoin goes 2x from here. We could see miners go up 3x. So that would be might be tough. I would say maybe closer to $30. I would think might be possible. But if they improve their operations with getting uptime to closer to 100%, I think that would also help. So maybe might be possible. Now, we talked about this already. Hey, Seb, by when do you think CORZ will be able to pay its debt by? I think they paid a large portion of it with the convertible notes right now that they're getting. That should pay off majority of the debt, I think, at a higher interest rate that they had prior. So now they're getting lower interest rates. So I think that's good news. And then that also gives them opportunities to do other things. They could hodl Bitcoin. They could leverage Bitcoin as well, do other things with it. So it gives them more optionality. See. What's your price target for BitDeer? Seems like a good entry point at these levels. I think it should be much higher from where it is right now. Given where it is even now, I think it's undervalued. Let's take a look at BitDeer here really quick. Let's see your screenshot, and here we go. So I think they should be at like $14 to $21. They're at $6.46, and this is which is a P of 10, and we're including like the revenue that they had with all the other business segments and things like that. This does not, I don't think it includes, it doesn't include, what are you looking at here? Those are the 3 quarters, current quarter. Yeah, we're not even including the revenue they might get from selling the ASIC machines in here as well. So I do think that they're undervalued right now. But like I said, a lot of the growth is done until like middle of 2025 towards the end and into 2026. So I'm wondering if that's having an impact on the stock price here as to why it's not doing that great. Okay, what else we got here? David says, my boy BitDigital, how'd you miss BitDigital? Yeah, I missed it. It happens from time to time. Hi, Sebastian, hope all is well. It is. Thanks for coming in. Let's see here. Hi, Seb. A question. Mara's breaking down currently. Where do you see Mara in numbers when we see Bitcoin facing 100,000? Thanks for your content. Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, I mean, Marathon came down from what, 30s in the 30s. It's at right now at 16, so it's about half of where it was prior. If you look at it, where could we see it? I mean, yeah, it was at 27. Was it 30s? Yeah, it was 30s here. Back in February, earlier in the 30s, so it's down half from where it was. Where could we see it Bitcoin at 100,000? At that point, we're at 16. I mean, you could go back up in the 30s, I think, somewhere around there, if not higher. That would be a 2x, would be a 32 for it. If we get 3x, we're looking at possibly, what is it going to be? 50, 32, $48, somewhere around there maybe. And Bitcoin does a 2x, and if they are a leverage play on Bitcoin, they also have a huge hodl position. So that should help them out. So we might be looking somewhere around there potentially on them. What else we got here? Let's see. Hi Seb, what do you think about BitDeer for AI exposure? I don't know. I know that they're trying to get into the HPC business as well, and I think they're hiring people for that segment of the business. But I just don't know when that's going to happen. So I don't know. Let's see. Thought all of a sudden we are now discussing more about Cleanspark. As per my understanding, it's still one of the best miners in terms of operational and utilization of their assets. What do you think? Yeah, I still agree. Right, but there hasn't been a lot of news out here for them recently. They provided their results for the quarter results. We talked about that, and we don't have much updates as far as them buying more infrastructure, buying more miners. Well, they did buy more miners recently, or at least changed the order to more efficient miners. But we talked about all that stuff. So I think a lot of people already have a pretty good sized bag of Cleanspark. Now they're looking possibly for the next thing that might be out, that might do a nice multiple X. Let's see. Breaking news from McNally. The jobs report lost 1 million jobs after the under rug Fed adjustment. Won't it be great when BTC finally breaks out and we can finally see what the multiples will be? Yeah. Scott, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming in. Let's see. Loving the show. Can you turn up the volume a bit? Volume is pretty high already. I don't know where you're listening to. If you're listening to headphones are usually probably the best, but you also hear like me breathing in and things like that. It's not ideal. But it is pretty high right now. I can dump it up a little bit here, just a tad. I mean, I'm already at like 95% of my volume meter here. Okay, what else do we have here? What price do you see Cleanspark if Bitcoin crosses 100,000? My target is still like $65, $70 for Bitcoin or for Cleanspark, with Bitcoin getting to a new all-time high, not a new all-time high, around 150, 180,000, somewhere around there. If 100,000, we're looking at possibly like maybe 30s, right? 40, somewhere around there, I would think. Can Bitcoin go to 38,000 support? I don't think so. Not now. It'd be too low for it. Let's see. Data is king narrative has too much weight when the market boredom sets in. Yep. Let's see. Do you think it's bullish or bearish if the Fed cuts rates in September? I think it's bullish because at that point it's risk on assets. Andy says RFK, RFK, RFK. After the Q3 lull, it's moon time. Prepare for what price you want to sell now, because it's as someone in the space since 2017. The euphoria stage distorts judgments. Best to make decisions now. Yeah, so you've been around with me. Well, you've been around, not maybe with me, but since 2017, I've been in this space also from then. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I sure hope no one here is voting for Harris. Yeah. They really need to get their act together, I think, especially with Bitcoin and everything else. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's see. So you're going to either vote for Trump or throw your vote away. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, he really irked me back in the prior election after what happened there, right? Character to me is, very important. And yes, he might be... Gosh, I would just say this. I would love to see another Reagan Republican. I think Reagan was one of our best Republicans that we had here. It also seems like, I'm not going to get into a tangent here, but just my little thoughts that I've noticed here. The Republican Party has gone off the rails a little bit recently. I'm not liking that either. Okay. Let's see. If the uptime is fixed for Riot, do you agree Riot could rocket in price and be the top 2 miner in the game? Yeah, I would think so. So that, and I think maybe, this is just a maybe, I don't know for this for sure, but I think maybe some investors are not pleased with Riot trying to buy out Bitfarms. I don't know how many. I don't know if that's having an impact. The only 2 things I can see here that are that are great, there's actually 3 things. So share-based compensation is off the charts. Uptime needs to get improved, and the Bitfarms buyout. Are those 3 things having an impact on the stock price? Maybe. I don't know exactly how much percentage of each one is. So Seb, is it okay to assume that miners will be following the BTC price movement more closely, or is there a chance for any particular miner to go down even though BTC goes up? There's always a chance, right? There's always a chance that a miner messes up something that they could go down even if Bitcoin going up. So, yeah, it's never 100% correlation between the miners and Bitcoin itself. There's always a miner that could be off by something and it's going to go down. Let's see. A vote for Harris if you want communism in America. Yeah, we do not want communism, guys. I was born in Poland. I don't know how many of you guys know that. I moved here when I was 8 years old. My dad actually escaped communism in Poland to Austria. And from there, he was granted asylum here in the United States, which I'm very, very thankful for. But it was definitely tough on us. I mean, I can remember the long lines that we had to wait for food. We do not want communism here in America. I don't want communism anywhere in the world. It's not a good thing. Do we see Bitcoin, BitDigital cross $18 for BTC above 100,000? BitDigital right now is at, oh gosh, you're looking at $18. I mean, that's basically a 6x from here, and Bitcoin goes to 2x. That's going to be really tough unless you can get the contract for this 100 million with the customer there for the next 5 years or whatever it is. That might be the only thing that would do it. What else we got here? Hey, Seb, I think Bitcoin might start to fly early this cycle, possibly mid-September. That's kind of what I'm thinking also. End of September, somewhere, October, November for sure, I'm thinking. Let's see. Do you think there is more price appreciation in Bitfarms versus IREN? That I don't know. That's always tough to tell. IREN has more growth going forward, but if they messed up on the power contracts or the power hedging for July, maybe even August or September, that's going to hurt them. I don't know how well they'll rebound after that. That's an unknown for me right now. Let's see. What operational hash rate, according to you, Seb, is a good one for Riot? Well, instead of about operational hash rate, I would like to see Corsica be closer to like 90%, if not higher, uptime for the month. And that's mainly because Jason Less has stated that at Corsicana, they should not be, not diluting, that's not diluting, that's not what I'm looking for, not curtailing more than 3 to 5% a year. So that's kind of where I'm looking at that. If they can get that to like 90, 95%, I think that'll be fantastic. If they can also improve Rockdale, Rockdale was at 65% last month. If they can increase that even to like 75, 80%, I think that would be huge. Hank, you're very welcome and have a great night too. Let's see. Oh, what else here we got? Seb, it's 2022. BTC is bottoming and the miners as well. Fast forward to today, and many of them are still at 22 levels or close, and BTC is at 4x. Miners are severely undervalued. Not necessarily, depending when you look at the values for the Bitcoin miners. If you're looking at them at the same time period, so like in August of 2022, then possibly. But if you look at where they bottomed at in December of 2022 and where they are right now, they are looking much, much better than Bitcoin is actually. A lot of them are, at least. Let's see. BlackRock owns 12% of Mara. Is this bullish? I think it might be bullish, but it also could be. We'll have to see. But some of these institutions might sell towards December, or in December actually, right? Take profits, get a nice big increase on their books for the year if it does go up nicely. So that's something you also have to look at. But that's basically for a lot of these miners here. And that's one of the concerns that I have with all these institutional ownership in the miners. Do you see the Bitcoin top differently if we get to 100,000 by December versus 100,000 by March? If we get to 100,000 by December, I think it would be more in line with what we've seen in previous cycles. If we get there by March, I'm thinking this might be an extended cycle then. Maybe. Let's see. More pain from the carry trade in the future, or you think this is over? I think with Japan increasing interest rates, that is making it less appealing for people to do that. So I think it might be over. But only time will tell, depending on what Japan does with the interest rates. See, most of the revenue from these HPCI deals seems to come into play from providing revenue after this cycle is already done. It might not be done completely, but you might be in kind of like the middle of it, especially with like Core Weave. They're not supposed to get that revenue until possibly Q1, Q2 of next year from it. So, yeah, it's going to be kind of maybe 3/4 of the way there. Let's see. See what else we have here. Let's see, Sebastian, respectfully, the ads on the streams are getting a bit out of hand. I get several every time and lose important parts of the stream. I'm fine with some help. But there's just too many. Is there too many? I don't see them, guys, so I do apologize if there are too many on there. It's up to Google to decide when they want to put them in there. I don't put them in there myself. It's just all up to Google to when they put them in there. And I'll be honest with you guys, the revenues are down anyways, for me at least on YouTube from month over month. I'm down approximately 40% in revenue just on YouTube alone in the last month. I know there's not maybe that much interest in Bitcoin miners right now because the miners are down. So I can understand that. Views are still up though, so I'm guessing it's just advertisers are not that willing to advertise on content that's with Bitcoin miners, I guess. What else we got here? If Riot's hash rates operating flips Cleanspark, do we see a flip in market cap as well? Possibly. But like I said, I think there's three things that are kind of contributing to it. The hash rate uptime and their stock-based compensation and Bitfarms buyout. Well, they're not buying it out, but they're trying to change board, but they're also buying shares in them. Don't know how much of an impact that is having on the stock. Let's see here. Harris wants to tax unrealized gains. Yeah, that would not be good for sure. Please vote for Trump. Let's see. Some I feel this bull run won't have a big drawdown due to all the demand around the world. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things where I'm talking about we may have an extended cycle. We just really don't know. It's a different cycle around. You got all the institutions, the ETFs, the banks buying it, the other companies buying Bitcoin. You got miners now buying, using security notes to buy Bitcoin as well, or convertible notes as well. So it is a totally different cycle this time around. Let's see. Let's see. Mark says I went deeper into Bit Digital 1 minute before the close today. Very good. Good timing for you, buddy. Let's see. If you had to put 1,000K in one miner right now, you're talking about Riot? Is that a little pun there? Which would you choose based on potential returns? I mean, that's tough. It's always tough. $1,000 not going to get you that much. I mean, you still might get a 3, 5, 6x out of it, maybe a 10x if you're lucky. But you really want to do is dollar cost average into them if you can. If I was to put it on one miner, I think that Bitfarms is still probably like one of the most undervalued here in the compared to the other peers in this group. It's probably where I put it in. Let's see. Hey, Seb, do you think Cleanspark can mine 650 to 700 Bitcoin a month by the end of 2024? Let's take a look at Cleanspark here really quick. What did they mine here recently with 20 some exahash? So they mine 494 by the end of the year. If they get to 30 exahash, the question being there is where will the network hash rate be at that point? We are at 600 now. If it's at 800 or 900, I don't think they will be able to, because that's going to decrease the number of Bitcoins that they mine here overall. So I don't know. It's really tough to tell. I mean, we could probably run the numbers on it, where the network hash rate is going to be possibly in December, and what their hash rate is possibly going to be. If they get too close to the 32 exahash they are planning on getting there, we could possibly run the numbers. I just don't have it in front of me for the calculator. But it would be tough. They're at 500 right now, and you said they were going to be at, 650, 700? They're at 500 right now, 150 increase, and they're increasing their hash rate by about a third more. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I don't think so. Let's see here. Seb, I know you hate altcoins, but right now all-time lows prices for alts, and if BTC rips in Q4, can you make life-changing? I think that you're saying life-changing money, not wife. I don't want to change my wife. So it's possible, right? If you pick the right coins, you might do very well. I've gotten burned in the past, so I do own some coins now. I'm just hoping to break even on those coins, and I'm selling those things this cycle if I can. If I get close to breaking even, I'll possibly might even sell them. Now, what else we got here? Is your price prediction for Bitcoin still around 160, 180,000? Yes. I still think 180,000, somewhere around there, is doable on kind of a conservative estimate. We could go higher than that as well, depending on how much we get FOMO in and everything else. Let's see here. David says, thanks for the show. Seb, you're a no-nonsense data only guy, and I respect that. May the Bitcoin guys grace us with the many minor moonshots in the coming months. I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm hoping you guys do great on this. Let's see. DK says, I only see ads once right at the beginning. Okay. David says, I haven't had one ad yet. Okay. If you have YouTube Prime, you probably won't see ads. But yeah, I'm surprised that some are getting more than others. Let's see. I always see Bitcoin predictions at 150, 180,000. I have a feeling we will surprise to the upside to match Plan B's average. That would be great. I'm not against it at all if we have more. But I'd just rather be conservative on it. I think a lot of you guys, and myself included, got burned last cycle where everybody was saying Bitcoin's going to 100,000 and it only went up to 69,000. So I'd rather be conservative on the numbers than be way off on it and then get disappointed. Let's see. I would love an extended cycle rather than just getting a quick blow off top and then crash. I wouldn't mind a slow ride up to 120, 150,000 leading into 2026. Okay, I would actually disagree with you there. I would actually love to get another cycle out of this with the miners and everything else. So I'd love a blow off top, close to 180,000, maybe 200,000. right? Try to sell close to that. I'm not going to be able to time it perfectly. We won't be able to. But at least maybe sell out of the miners by then. And then if we can ride it down again to get another bear market where the miners are down another 80%, I would love that. Because at that point, I can buy them at a much lower cost, dollar cost average back into them, and repeat the process again where I might be able to score another, a 5x, 10x on some of these miners going forward. So that would be huge for me if I could do that again. Let's see. Would we have Bitfarms crossing $20 with 21 exahash and Bitcoin at 150,000 at $20, 3x, 6x, 9x still valid for Bitfarms? Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing somewhere around $15 to $20 would maybe be in the ballpark. At that point, if we were at 150, 180,000, something like that, I could see that happening. P says, I mean, wife changing money. Okay, well, I'm happy with my wife. I'm not changing her for anything. Peace in the home is more important to me than, you could say, maybe changing out my, how do I put this? They say when you're in your 40s, people will change their wives for 222s or something like that. That's what I don't need that. What else we got? Will Bitfarms ever grow to 10 USD? What does it take to go? I think it needs Riot to get off of their backs, basically. And we just need Bitcoin to go up, I think. At that point, I could see them getting at least to 10, 15, maybe even $20 at that point. Yeah, DK, I'm with you. I'm the same way. Let's see. Sour Melon Gaming says, you ready to be a miner millionaire, Sebastian? Bitcoin going to 250,000 this cycle, and miners are going to blow. I hope you're right. If they do go to that, I will be extremely happy. McNally, Bryce, I guess you're leaving here. Hey, all, great show, Seb. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one. I'll catch you someplace, I'm sure. Let's see. Ryan says, I don't see any ads with YouTube Premium. I share a family plan with 5 other relatives, so not less than $5 per month. Yeah. Okay, I've come up to all you guys' questions here. So we will take a look at BitDigital's numbers tomorrow. We will take a look at see what else is going on. I think the only one that I'm waiting on now is IREN to report. And IREN might not be until maybe September. I'm not sure exactly when they're going to report on that. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Bitcoin right now is at, where's Bitcoin? It's still at 60,600. So it's looking pretty good right now. We're definitely fighting with that 61,000 resistance on it. We'll see if we can get above that, and we'll see where things happen. But again, I appreciate you guys all and gals for coming in here to watch and talk and chat and ask questions. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. We'll see what happens tomorrow on it. Whatever happens tomorrow, we'll discuss it tomorrow night. All right. So I wish you guys a great night, a great Tuesday, and I'll see you in the next one.